want to start by draining the oil. You can find your 15mm oil drain plug right at the back here next to the oil filter. Let's break this free. Remove it completely and make sure you have a collection bucket to catch all of the oil. I'm applying pressure on the drain bolt. That way when it gets to the end, it doesn't shoot out and make a mess everywhere. And when I feel that it's on the last thread, that's when I'm gonna let go. So right there, you can feel that as you unthread it, it skips on that last thread. So at this point, I'm just gonna pull it straight out, let all the oil drain. This is pretty much at its end. I'm gonna snug it up. All right, that's snug. I'm gonna get the torque wrench so I can torque it. 18 foot-pounds for this. Wipe off the drippage. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and remove this oil filter. That way we can get this out of our way. We'll just let this drain for a second. There we go. Let this all drain. With every oil change, I like to prime the filter if possible, and this one is possible because it sits upright like this, so there's no way it's going to pour back out. So I'm going to take my 5W30 engine oil, that's what this engine takes, and I'm going to fill up this oil filter. This is going to allow it to basically be primed, ready to go, so the engine doesn't have to fill it up once it starts, and then it'll actually suck up oil right away as opposed to sucking up air. And I like to lean it to the side like this and just spin it around. That's gonna get the oil flowing into the filter material. And I'm gonna top it off as needed so it can be nice and full. Obviously don't go overboard, don't fill it up to the brim, but up to the top. It's gonna bubble a little bit as the air comes out and the oil soaks in. But just give this a minute, and then while you wait, take a little bit of this oil, lubricate this gasket around the top. This is going to do two things. One, it's going to seal up better, and two, which is important, it's going to help it not stick onto the engine when you go to remove it next time. A lot of times these gaskets, especially if they're not lubricated, they will stick to the engine, and if you don't check that the old one comes off and you go to put the new one on, you're double gasketing it, and it's not going to make a seal. It's actually going to squish the old gasket out, and it's going to start shooting oil everywhere. So always double check that the old gasket is off and lubricate the new one. Go ahead and put the new oil filter on, and when you tighten it, don't tighten it with the oil filter wrench, just do it by hand. After it bottoms out, or once the gasket touches, usually go about half a turn, maybe 3/4 at most. But if you just make it tight by hand, that should be plenty right here. Let's fill the engine up with oil, remove your oil fill cap, and as you can see, you need to use 5W30. Unless you typically use something else. But either way, let's put 6 quarts of 5W30. Because this is at a pretty severe angle, I don't want to spill anything, so I took a bottle, cut it, and that's going to make a little funnel for me to pour oil in. Like I said, we'll start with 6 quarts, and we'll measure after that's in. Now that the 6 quarts are in, I'm going to cap this off and check it on the dipstick, although it's not going to be completely accurate because we do need to start the engine first, but I want to get a baseline to make sure that it is somewhere between the low and the high marks. All right, so this is actually perfect. Not sure how well you can see it, but these dots, and on this side you have some hash marks, is this is the low line, this is the high line, and basically our oil is right above the high, which is okay because we haven't started the engine yet. So once we start it, it's probably going to go down. So I'm going to leave it exactly where it is. Stick this back in.